I want to I have a little bit of a liberty here. I'm not going to say much about standards, but I'm going to say a lot about governance and ethics, and that will feed into how we think about the standards conversation. Um, I have to say, I do feel that we've all been captivated by the narrative that's now present that this is an AI race and that we have to do everything to win the race. It's very disappointing to see the real change in wind that's happened since the AI Action Summit, and the fact that people are pushing back against the progress that we're making on thinking about how to ensure AI was developed in a responsible way. And of course, now standards are an integral part of that. Um, I think it's outrageous that we're burning the planet to build artificial intelligence, that we're building ever larger data centers. We're turning on coal-fired and gas-powered power stations to fuel those data centers. We're using water that should be going to humans and agriculture to cool those power stations. It's absolutely outrageous that we allow that to happen. And it's also absolutely outrageous that we're risking the global economy. There are huge great bets being made, and they are not going to return value. I'm absolutely convinced that we will see this bubble burst and people will lose a lot of money. And we shouldn't put up with people gambling our future in this irresponsible way. And from a scientific perspective, I want to convince you it doesn't have to be this way. The only reason that we're going down this road is because a small number of tech companies want to capture the market by outspending everyone else. They want to lock us into their platforms. They want to capture all our data. They did that with the first iteration of the internet. That's how we ended up with Google being the search engine of choice, because no one can compete against Google because no one has the data to compete against Google. Even if you come up with a better algorithm, you're never going to be able to get into the first gear because you won't have that quality data and that quantity data that Google has. And we're repeating exactly that same mistake with AI. And it doesn't have to be. Intelligence doesn't require gigawatts of power. It doesn't require the kilowatts of power. Intelligence requires 20 watts of power. This thing, the human brain, runs on 20 watts of power. It's a third of the body's energy. It's your most energetic organ. Will use more energy than your heart, but it's only 20. There is no need to build ever and ever larger models. And the other reason that we don't need to be ever and ever larger models is that in humans we get intelligence and we get expertise by specialization, and that's what we're going to see. We're already seeing diminishing returns from throwing ever more resources at the all singing, all dancing, jack of all trade models. We're going to see progress by by having high quality data, more specialized models, more focused models. And you're starting to see some of that happen. You're seeing SLMs, special small language models, starting to appear. But that is the future that we could have if we don't allow competition and this ridiculous AI race to dominate the agenda. The other thing that's going to be incredibly important, and this will feed into standards as well, is open source. I think back to 20, 30 years ago when the internet was blossoming and was growing and becoming the wonderful thing that it is today in many respects, with some reservations. We never had the conversation about what about how are we going to develop our sovereign internet? No one ever had that conversation. We're having the conversation about sovereign AI because it's increasingly closed sourced. The tech companies are being increasingly secretive about what they're doing. If we develop it in an open way, like we develop the internet, then it will be available to everyone. And of course, that's going to require us to develop the right standards to have it in an open way. No one nation owns the internet. No one nation should own artificial intelligence. That will also contribute greatly. I mean, why is the internet so robust? It's because it's built on open source software that all of us get to look and all of us get to correct. The other great thing that's going to ensure that we get responsible AI is competition. And again, we're seeing concentration into the hands of a small number of players. We need to encourage competition. We need to enforce antitrust. We need to ensure that it's done in an open, competitive way. The final thing that I want to be a strong advocate for, which will again feed into standards and so on, is for national regulation. In Australia, in the next week, we're going to our age gating on social media for young kids is going to come into force. I'm very optimistic that is going to improve the mental health of our young people dramatically. That's something that's long overdue that we should have done a long time ago. And I'm optimistic that that's going to prove to be very viral. A number of other countries, Denmark and various other countries, already discussing something like that. All good for them. We need to do the same with other AI regulation, about the other new harms that AI is going to produce, because AI will produce great benefits, but also significant harm. So I just want to conclude by reminding you the four things that I think are absolutely important, and all of them actually feed into how we think about standards ultimately. One is small and specialized AI. Let's not burn the planet. Let's not destroy the economy by building AI. Open source, that's going to be incredibly important to ensure we have responsible AI, and it's done in a way that isn't captured by a small number of players. Competition, open source will feed into that, and finally national regulation. In that way, and only in that way, will we get AI for all. Thank you.